The stock market crash of 1929 plunged the country into the Great Depression. The collapse of the national economy closed down mines, factories, and industrial plants and sent millions of workers into the ranks of the unemployed. In desperation, workers migrated west on Route 66 in search of new jobs. On the heels of the Depression came one of the most severe droughts to strike the middle and southwestern states. Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, and eastern New Mexico became the Great Dust Bowl of the country. This is an abandoned Dust Bowl home in Oklahoma. Desperate and destitute farmers loaded their families and belongings into their jalopies or trucks and took to the road in search of better land and jobs. Route 66 had been established in 1926. Often referred to as the Mother Road, it began in Chicago and ended in Santa Monica, California. When it was approved, US 66 was hardly the picture of a modern highway. Only 800 miles of the approximately 2,448 miles were paved. The remainder was graded dirt, graveled, or bricks covered with asphalt, and in a few places, planks laid on top of sand to keep the cars from sinking. Migrant camps were set up in California for the people working the fields. All sorts of fields, from cotton to peas, were spread across the state of California, and there were always more people than jobs available. Permanent camps were established for the migrant workers. The Route 66 road warriors brought their faith with them. This group of migrant workers were placed in ramshackle huts in Imperial Valley, California. For all the human suffering found along the historic Route 66, the Mother Road was a silver lining for the state of New Mexico. The historic route actually passed right through the heart of Santa Fe. The original Route 66 connected with the old Santa Fe and Pecos Trail that led right into Santa Fe on the plaza. It was on this road that people experienced the food, language, music, art, and architecture of Santa Fe as they traveled west. Today, a historic marker indicating the route's location can be found at the corner of Water Street, 1 block off the Santa Fe Plaza. Crossing through New Mexico, the famous roadway introduced the world to Native American and Hispanic culture. Tucumcari was the first major stop in New Mexico along Route 66. The city provided a cultural snapshot for the weary road warriors heading west. In restaurants along the route, travelers got their first taste of the region's bountiful chili dishes. Santa Fe was later bypassed on Route 66 for the city of Santa Rosa, which provided a more direct link through Albuquerque. Some of the New Mexico cities along Route 66 included Santa Fe, Tucumcari, Santa Rosa, Clines Corners, Albuquerque, and Gallup. In Moriarty, Route 66 became an annual event for travelers when they were asked to take part in the Moriarty annual Pinto Bean Fiesta. Moriarty and Estancia Valley proudly proclaimed themselves to be the Pinto Bean capital of the world. Route 66 Elementary School in Moriarty opened its doors on September 19, 1998, in honor of the famous highway. The building's name is a form of publicity for the Route 66 Association, which helps to keep the spirit of the old Route 66 alive, along with funding from the state of New Mexico. Route 66 crossed Albuquerque via Central Avenue, which continues to separate north from south in Albuquerque. Many of the motels, diners, and gas stations of East Central were built in the 40s and 50s to cater to Route 66 traffic. Often Southwestern-style architecture and Spanish names, such as the De Anza Court, were used to reflect the state's Hispanic community. Central Avenue became a frequent stopping point for Route 66 travelers. There were clubs along the avenue that entertained people passing through town. The Don Lesmond Chavez Band performed at the Old Town Society Hall on Route 66. Headed east out of Albuquerque above 9 Mile Hill, Route 66 passed along villages such as Laguna Pueblo, Cubero, McCarty's, and Paraje. At Cubero, a Spanish-style motel and service station known as La Villa de Cubero welcomed such Route 66 guests as Ernest Hemingway, the famous Trapp family, and Los Alamos scientists out on holiday. In Grants, the Uranium Cafe took its name from the nearby uranium mines, and it offered some of the best Mexican food on the New Mexico leg of Route 66. Gallup was New Mexico's last major city on Route 66 and New Mexico's hub for the movie industry from 1937 to 1964. R.E. Griffith built the El Rancho Hotel in 1937, and through his brother D.W. Griffith, the well-known Hollywood director, attracted movie stars and directors to Gallup. The El Rancho was built in the rustic style of a Western lodge and featured a 2-story lobby with a brick floor and large, rough-cut beams. On the walls were Navajo rugs and trophy animal heads and furs. The Hollywood crowd made El Rancho Hotel its headquarters, whether passing through or working on one of the 20 films that were made in Gallup during that era. Today, the El Rancho Hotel continues to be an attraction, and its rooms are named after some of the biggest stars from Hollywood's golden era. In 1956, President Dwight Eisenhower signed the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, which authorized construction of a new 42,500-mile interstate highway system across the United States. That law ultimately led to the construction of the interstates that largely replaced US 66 and eventually led to the decline of its use, and in some cases abandonment of the old road. John Steinbeck's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Grapes of Wrath, immortalized the lure and lore of Route 66. Droves of humanity passed through New Mexico as they sought a better life out west. For the people of New Mexico, Route 66 supplied a steady stream of employment for shop owners, road crews, innkeepers, and others in the service industry. Just as the characters in Steinbeck's book sought to build a new life, Route 66 provided an avenue for a different life for the people of New Mexico.